Hi, everyone. Welcome to Financial Friday. It's already the end of July, and we just have a few more months left before the end of the year. So we still have time to catch up with what we need to do to make sure that we have a financially successful year. And I'm just going to give everybody maybe a minute or two to join. And I hope everybody's been keeping safe. I think the world is going back to normal, especially here in South Africa. We've released or we've done away with some of our COVID regulations. So most people are not wearing masks anymore. And a lot of people are going back into the workplace. And so there's a lot of good stuff happening back home. So today's session, we're going to look at reviewing your financial plan. And if you remember, when we started these sessions a couple of months ago, we started off with identifying your financial goals. And we used the financial wellness wheel to identify goals that might be suitable for you depending on your financial needs and your priorities. Now, and along the way, what we've decided we were going to do is every month we're going to share tools and tips that'll help you to have a financially successful year and also to shift the way you think, feel, and behave with money. And in doing so, improve your long-lasting financial wellness. So today's topic or theme we're going to be talking about is the importance of reviewing your financial plan. I'm going to talk about what a financial plan is, why it's important, and when is the best times to review your financial plan and how you can go about doing that. So going from A to B hardly ever happens in a straight line. And that's with a lot of the things that we do in life. It never happens in a straight line or goes according to the plan that we envisioned it to go according to. Now, if there's one thing that COVID taught us is that life is unpredictable. And as I said before, it doesn't always go according to the plan that we have or the vision that we have in mind. So let's start off with exactly what is a financial plan. And I know for a lot of the youth that are listening today from Heritage STEM, Camps Foundation, you're still building up your knowledge around finances. But this is also applicable for somewhere along the line in the future, at least you'll have this understanding and information available to you, which will obviously help you to improve your financial wellness and also to get you started off on the right track. So basically, a financial plan is a roadmap that guides you from where you are to where you want to be. So a financial plan typically is created together with your financial planner, and it details your holistic financial goals. Sit down with you and they will unpack what your future vision is, how does that interpret or monetize into goals, or how do you monetize your goals into a value that they can then say, okay, this is the amount that you need to save in order to be able to reach that goal. What they also look at is your current financial portfolio, the current value of your savings, how much you can afford to contribute on a monthly basis or a lump sum basis. And they will also present solutions for you in that plan that is aligned to your vision. So it'll show you how the steps that you need to take to be able to achieve your vision. And again, in anything that we do in life, if we have goals, life goals that we want to set, if there's fitness goals that we want to set, we have a goal in mind whereby we say we want to lose a certain amount of weight or we want to get to a certain level of fitness. And your plan will basically detail all the things that you need to do in order to be able to reach that fitness or weight loss goal. That will include things like your eating plan, your training plan, the tools and equipment that you need in order to be able to do this. So going back to financial planning, each time you meet with your planner, which should ideally happen at least once a year, they will sit down with you and they will review your plan to make sure that you are on track. So when you get to when you need to achieve your goals, so as an example, if you've given yourself a 5-year time limit, you don't want any nasty surprises at the end of that 5-year period. You want to know for sure that you are able to realize that goal. So during this time that you sit with your planner, you will have the opportunity to discuss any changes that might have occurred since your last meeting. Because remember, life is unpredictable and stuff can happen. And your planner will then make adjustments to your plan if that is necessary. Now, in this way, also, you're building a trusted, long lasting relationship with your planner, and you kept informed and in the loop at all times. Now, I know in the past, financial advice was a very once-off transactional sort of relationship. And a lot of that is changing because of regulation and because we're trying to professionalize the industry. So a lot of the times, the financial planners that you deal with, especially if they're certified financial planning professionals, will build a long-lasting relationship with you. So when I plan for clients in my coaching conversations, it's slightly different in the sense that, firstly, I don't call it a financial plan. I call it a financial wellness plan. And this is something we craft together, where we sit down, we identify what their future goals are, what their vision looks like. We look at what their current portfolio, we analyze their current portfolio, and we look at what needs to be done in order for them to be able to achieve financial wellness. So when I look at their current portfolio, we look at a whole lot of things. We look at income and expenses, assets and liabilities. We look at, financial documents, statements. I help them to, sometimes a lot of people don't have a budget. They don't know what they're spending their money on. And so what we try to do is to try and improve their control over their spending. And so I use sometimes money journals to help identify, where every single cent is going. I don't advise on any products. I don't sell or market any financial products or solutions to them. I always refer them back to their financial planner. So even though I am able to do that, I have obviously decided that I want to focus on shifting people's behavior in the process of them achieving those goals. So what I also do differently from what financial planners do is that I help my clients to shift the way that they think, feel, and behave with money. And sometimes this includes identifying potential blocks that could be preventing them from achieving their goals and ultimately their financial success. Now, a lot of people don't feel the need to speak to a financial advisor or a financial planner. A lot of people don't feel that they have sufficient funds to be able to invest with a financial advisor or a planner. And so that is why they end up not seeking advice or education around that. And those are the people that I actually want to target and help. So we unpack what their relationship with money could be, in more details. We identify what those stumbling blocks or limiting beliefs might be, stopping them from achieving financial success. And remember, our mindsets have a lot to do with whether we achieve our financial goals and whether we achieve financial success or not. So why should you have a financial plan? Well, firstly, if you don't have a plan, how are you going to get to where you want to go? Okay, it's the same like using Waze or Google Maps, or even having a map that directs you or tells you this is how you're going to get from this destination to that destination. So your plan needs to be crystal clear. You need to have written down goals that that clarify exactly what it is that you want to achieve, when you want to achieve it, and how you're going to achieve it. So when we started, as I said in the beginning, when we started with our Financial Friday sessions, we talked about the importance of setting goals. And if you still haven't identified a goal for the year, it's not too late. At least just choose one. And that goal could be anything. It could be, I want to improve or cut down on my expenses. I want to get better control over the money that I'm spending. Whatever that goal is, just choose one goal and let's try and shift your financial wellness within the next few months, so that at least you're not living the same year over and over again. And there has been some changes or improvements to your financial wellness. So, reviewing your financial plan once a year also provides you with the opportunity for you to course correct. So, what does that mean? So, basically, as I said earlier, life doesn't ever go as smoothly as what we would like. And when it doesn't go according to plan, we need to make sure that we have the ability to be flexible and adaptive to change. Remember, I shared one of my quotes as well, by Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, who said that it's not the strongest of the species that will survive, but those that are or it's not the strongest of the species that will survive, nor is it the most intelligent. It is the ones that are most adaptive to change. And so again, COVID was a huge teacher of us learning to become adaptive and resilient. And COVID threw that spanner in the works. So a lot of people had to deviate from their original plans. Some people lost their jobs. Business revenue reduced. Some people lost the breadwinners in the family. Children became orphans. Many people were forced to cut their expenses, sell off investments, assets, and even belongings just to be able to survive. And some even stopped contributing towards their retirement savings. Some dipped into their retirement savings, and even withdrew some of their emergency savings. The point is that people did whatever they needed to do to survive. So planning for today or just getting through today didn't allow us to be able to plan for the future in the way that we had originally anticipated before COVID happened. But now that we are recovering, we need to ensure that we make up for that time and for the money that we took away from our future goals. And the best time to do this is when things are going really well, because I think that's when a lot of us let our guard down. So when things are going well, make sure that you are saving for tomorrow, that you are saving for a rainy day. Because if you were not in a position where you had savings and COVID happened and you lost your job, you were a lot worse off than those that did have savings available to them. So again, if you don't have a financial plan, now is the time to get your financial house in order. Put it on your to-do list. It is something that you need to have done. And if you have one, then make sure that you are reviewing it at least once a year. You should also be reviewing your financial plan as and when your circumstances change. And this could be things like either you're single and you're getting married, you're married and getting divorced, you might have a change in income, you might have a birth of a child, you might have a loss of an income. You might even decide to buy or sell an asset that you didn't previously plan for. So other factors that you need to consider when reviewing your financial plan is maybe you've changed employment. And that could be through moving jobs, getting a promotion, becoming retrenched. All of this will impact your benefits that you receive from your employer as well as your earnings. And obviously, the more income you receive, the more you should be able to save and invest for the future. Even if you get a bonus or money back from the tax man, these are all access to surplus funds that you could use towards your future goals. So remember also, an increase in income could result in a higher tax liability. Or if you have surplus cash, you can use them again. As I mentioned earlier, you can again use them towards your goals. The cost of living, and I know inflation was around just over 7% here in South Africa last couple of weeks. And interest rates went up, petrol is increasing, the cost of living is increasing. All of this reduces our ability to save more. So we got to look at ways of how we can spend less than we initially were to be able to cut costs so that we still save towards our goals. There's a lot of things that we also need to take into consideration when reviewing our financial plan. We need to make sure that these inflation costs are that doesn't decrease the purchasing power of our money, especially if we're saving for the long term, like retirement. The cost of fees on your investments also impact your net returns. So this could mean that you have less when less saved up for when you actually need to realize that goal. The return that you earn is also linked to market performance. So that in itself also will affect whether you reach your goal on time or not. Other things that you need to look at reviewing when you review your financial plan is if you had a birth of a child, you might need to add them onto as a beneficiary onto your policy documents. If you got divorced, you'd need to maybe remove a beneficiary off your policy documents. So these are just some of the elements that you need to consider when you are putting together your financial plan. Reviewing your financial plan offers some sense of certainty for you and peace of mind, knowing that you are on track to achieving your goals. And even if you aren't on track to achieving your goals, then at least you are being kept informed every single step of the way. So I hope that that I've been able to share some tips in terms of helping you to review your financial plan. So Tina sent through, oh, where did it disappear? Okay. Tina sent through a question. What tips do you have to help recession-proof our plan, budget personally, and for a business? Okay, and this is something that we've been getting a lot of in this last few months, especially with, in South Africa, there's been a lot of price increases, a lot of petrol increases, and, even with interest rates going up, debt has become more expensive. So people are really starting to feel the pinch. And we know when petrol increases, food costs of food goes up, inflation goes up, and it just becomes a lot to handle. And I know people are really feeling the pinch, especially here in South Africa. I think the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we do have a budget in place. I think when you have more control over the money that you're spending and the money that you're receiving, then you feel a lot better. So my number one tip is to have a budget, know exactly where your money is going. And I think when you know where your money is going, you'll be able to then go back to that budget and analyze exactly where you can cut costs. So if you're spending way too much money on things like entertainment, alcohol, eating out, takeouts, those are the first things that you need to start reducing to be able to just manage the rest of your expenses. So we always start with reducing our wants, and if you have that budget, that is probably the best starting point to analyze what expenses you can cut out on. If you don't have a budget, try and keep a money journal for at least a month. Remember this, inflation increases are not going to last forever. It's just to help you to navigate through this challenging time and get out on the other hand, or get out on the other side. From a business perspective, again, cutting down costs, we waste a lot of money on a lot of unnecessary expenses. So again, making sure that you have a budget. Cash flow is key in terms of running a business. So you want to make sure that you're getting value for money and that you're stretching your money as long as you possibly can. And just stay positive, try and have an abundance mindset, because I think that is also important. What tips do you have in assessing a good financial planner? Yeah, and again, the financial planning profession or financial advisory profession has often been riddled with a lot of distrust in the past. So when you are looking for a financial advisor or a financial planner, I'm a certified financial planning professional. That is one of the highest qualifications that you can work, or financial planner that you can work with. So ideally look for somebody who has the CFP mark. Obviously with, the financial planning professionals also carry experience, qualifications, and they could possibly also charge you accordingly. So again, look for somebody that you are able to have a good relationship with, somebody that you can build a trusting relationship with, somebody that's not willing to just sell you something for the sake of selling you something. A lot of financial advisors are remunerated for products that they sell. So you want to make sure that you're not being sold something that you don't need. Make sure your financial planner understands your goals, that they've understood your personality and what it is you're trying to achieve. Where can you find a financial planner? There are a lot of financial planning sites. In South Africa, we have the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa. I know across the globe, there are also financial planning institutes. So you can always contact them. You can also speak to your bank. You can speak to a leading insurance or asset management company to be able to find a financial planner. But again, finding a financial planner is like finding a doctor. You're not just going to go to any doctor. Maybe once off you go to a doctor if you're really ill, but over time you build up a relationship with the doctor. If you have a bad experience with that doctor, you're not going to go back to that doctor. And in a similar light, when you're looking for a financial planner, make sure you find somebody that you're able to work well with. I thought I saw another question. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I can see the questions now. What do you recommend on how to manage finances when you have a partner? Aha. Interesting topic. I have created and this is very important because I think a lot of the times, especially if we get married or we're dating someone or move in with somebody, we haven't really sat down and understood or discussed financial goals and objectives. I think this is a completely another topic for another day, but very quickly, it's very important. Communication is extremely important. Remember, we grew up from different childhood experiences. We had completely different experiences about money. Our parents even taught us completely different things about money. And so one partner might be a spender, the other might be a saver, and that's sure to cause complications in a relationship. In fact, marriage arguments, there was a survey that was done where and I think it was in the US actually, a survey that was done where they found that couples argue about money at least 3 times a week. That is absolutely crazy. So, again, communication is key. I've actually designed a course that people that are married or people that are in a relationship can actually complete together. I've created a workbook whereby they can ask those really awkward questions. If you don't know which questions to ask or you don't know how to approach the topic, there's a workbook that I've designed that you can use to ask those very awkward questions. And again, these are things that I wish I had asked when I was married. The best time to be asking these questions is when you are in a happy relationship. It is when things are going well, because that's the time when things are amicable and you're both on the same page in terms of what it is you want to achieve. So yeah, I just want to see if there's any other questions. I think that's it. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's a very interesting topic that I love talking about. You can reach out to me on all social media platforms. My website is www.moneymessages.co.za. I've also got a YouTube channel where I share a lot of videos and tools and tips. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel, and maybe we can share the links as well, where you can also access a lot of my content and other resources. If you subscribe to my Money Messages website, you also be able to access a lot of tools and tips as we proceed on your financial wellness journey. So thank you, everyone. I know we've gone over time, but I can always carry on talking about money. I love talking about money. And we hope to see you next month. Awesome. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.